Hello everyone, welcome back once again, one day late, to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Kruse, owner and builder and operator of the layout, and your host for episode 34 of season 2022. And no, you are not looking at the Evanston Sub. This is not my layout. It's not even the Evanston Sub, it's the Geneva Sub, which I actually had a chance to visit when I took my daughter to the airport. Decided that I would swing by Lombard Hobbies since I was in that vicinity, sort of vicinity, and I was there a little bit before opening of the Lombard Hobbies, so I went to the Lombard station and got a chance to check out some trains. So this is actually in Lombard on the Geneva Sub. But this week going to be an update on the Evanston Sub and some of the things that I've been doing. I have this video out a day late because I spent most of the week with family. Had the chance to babysit our grandson while my daughter and her husband were out of town for a little bit. So definitely enjoyed doing that. But only had a couple of days to work on the layout, but wanted to show you what I did do in those few days. And then also wanted to share with you an idea of what it's going to be like to run a train all the way across the Evanston Sub. So now we're back in Utah and Wyoming, not in Illinois anymore. This is Westvaco, which I've been working on. As you can see, I picked up some scale trains, covered hoppers. These are all Union Pacific. 6 of them are UP with high numbers. The others are CMO. So this is the Westvaco area. I did get a chance to wire up one of the turnouts. I had the turnout motor installed, but I was able to get it wired up with a stationary decoder and also powered the frog. And I also had a chance to do a lot of wiring up some of the track, put a bunch of feeders in so that I had consistent power all through this particular section of the railroad. As you can see, I have some track kind of laid out on how the track plan is going to be when we do ops at Westvaco. It's going to be a 2-track yard, for 1 track for pickups, loaded pickups, the other track for empties. Now I am going to put a platform all across here. I decided because of the covered hoppers blocking the view of the main line, I think even those who are running a train through, not operating here, but just running the train through, they're going to want to stand up and see their train go through here. So instead of having a number of step stools, I'm just going to put a platform all the way across. It's not going to be real wide, but it is going to be all the way across so no one can trip over it. I did put this turnout in also for the turnout on this side. And I also installed that turnout. That turnout was not there last week. And then I did put the second main line in. So both mains are in, both turnouts are in. And we're all the way to this point. Did not get any additional bench work done, though, unfortunately. But I am going to, I think this week, put in bench work all along here. I'm hoping to get about 20 feet in. Here's some more video. I did get my HO scale flood loader that I'm going to have here. So if you're looking at that, you have the 2 main lines, and then there's going to be 2 tracks that are going to be for loaded cars and empties. Trains are going to drop off the empties and pick up the loaded cars, and then there's going to be a 3-track kind of small yard. It's going to be a stub end yard. One track's going to be for the coal loader. Not the it's actually a coal loader, but it's going to be Trona. This is a Trona mine. All right, so here's a picture of the flood loader that I'm going to be incorporating or trying to simulate here at this location. So this could be pretty cool operating here. You'll have trains picking up and dropping off, and then there will be a switcher that's going to be here permanently, and whoever is running this will basically have to take the empties and slowly run them through the coal loader to simulate loading them. Keep track of which ones have been loaded, which ones have not been loaded. This is where some bigger buildings are going to go. The flood loader is going to have the conveyor to another building. So the conveyors are going to go from the flood loader to a building here in between the tracks, and then there's going to be a bigger building that's going to be a conveyor to. So it's going to be pretty cool. The person that's there is going to be responsible for changing the empties to loaded, getting them in the right track for trains to pick them up, and then getting the empties from the drop-offs and running them through the coal loader. So it's going to be a pretty cool process. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's all I really got done this week. But we are to the point where I think I can kind of show you what it's going to be like to run a train across the entire Evanston Sub. So we're going to take a stack train pulled by a Heritage Fleet MKT or Katy locomotives. Going to head it out that's a SD70 ACE with a trailing ES44 GEVO. And they are pulling out of the east staging yard, which represents Green River. And the first thing that they're going to do is pull into the helix for the run up to the second level. Now, when we're operating trains, the operator may actually come back here if he wants to and run the train all the way up. That's probably how it's going to happen a lot of the times. Or it might be a case where there's a mole who works here the whole operating session, or for half of it at a time. 2 people split it, and they'll be responsible for running the trains up and down the helix. So one way or the other, the first start, if you're going from east to west, starting in Green River and heading westbound, the first thing is to get the train up the helix. Now this particular stack train, there's 40 wells, and it's only pulled by 3 locomotives, 2 Atherns and 1 scale train. So the 3 locomotives are just barely able to get it through. But if you're operating this train, there will be a window here. It won't be quite this big. It'll be about half the size of what it is now. But you will be able to look in there to see where your train is. And then you can pick it up as it comes out of the helix and onto the first part, the most eastern portion of the layout. So this is coming from Green River and heading west towards Ogden. You see, it's a little bit of slippage here. I was thinking I might have to give it a push, but it did actually make it and started to get some traction. Those are photo backdrops that I had printed at Walgreens. They were came out to about $9 for an 8-foot section. In order to get it at that price, you have to make sure you catch Walgreens when they have a sale. If they don't have a sale, it's like $18 for a 1 foot by 8 foot section. But they periodically have 50% off sales. And they had that when I got these, and then I noticed I just got an email from them today that they are having another 50% off sale that's going to run through September 5th. So if you're interested in doing that, now's the time to catch Walgreens while they're having the 50% off. That's a really good price, I think. They come in 2 by 8 foot sections, and I put 2 backdrops on each one, cut the banner in half. So you get a total of 16 feet from one 2 foot by 8 foot banner. So here we're on the second level. We're heading westbound out of Green River. Going through some relatively flat areas with the different mountains in the background. I'm going to have a crossing somewhere along the way here. So we will get a chance to run the horn a little bit here and there. I'm running the train at 20 scale miles per hour, so we're going to figure on that as we go all the way around. And we are having to meet with a eastbound coal train. At this portion of the subdivision, it is right-hand running. And we do have a green signal there, so we are going to go through. As you can see, I magically teleported myself to the other side of the peninsula. And we'll pick it up from this side. I had thought about possibly having the operators kind of stopping there and then walking to the other side, but I think I'm just going to have them slow down to maybe 10 miles per hour. It doesn't take a long time to get to the other side. I don't think I'm going to have them stop at first unless it becomes a problem where they're not watching their train. But I think I'm just going to tell them to slow down to 10 miles per hour or slower until they get to the other side, and then they can ramp it back up to 20 scale miles per hour. Now I'm standing on the step stool, so this will be platform height, watching the trains go by. Again, there's 40 well cars, I believe. As it goes through Westvaco. And then it comes around this curve as it approaches the next control point, which will be Granger. And here we have it coming down the line. Definitely a good viewpoint as it comes around these curves. And we continue now westbound. Now there is no more bench work done, but we're going to kind of simulate this. This is about 18 feet of wall. I have the main line extended about 2 feet into it, as you can see. This week I'm going to put 16 more feet. So this will be the control point of Granger. Now here's some pictures of Granger that I picked up on Google Earth. And I'm going to try and put the town of Granger here, and this is where the Pocatello Subdivision comes off of the Evanston Subdivision, so I might try to put that trackage in there also. We'll see. All right, from Granger then, there'll be a control point. It's going to be actually extending out a little bit further here, so the track is going to come out. It's going to be about 18 inches away from the wall and then come through and then head towards the back here. So by the time it gets to here, it's going to be at the back 10 inches. Okay, if that makes sense. And this is going to be Interstate 84 and Devil's Slide. Just the bottom portion of Devil's Slide, and this will be the Taggart Mountain and the Taggart Tunnels below it, but then above it will be the second level, so you have to kind of imagine that we're continuing on. This will be the Aspen control point right here. And that's the last control point. The Aspen Tunnels will be here. I think I'm going to use foam scenery construction here. I haven't never done that before, but I think it'll be useful for the second level here. Also in Granger, I'm going to use some foam scenery. Anyway, from the tunnels, then it goes in through this wall to get to here, and now we pick up the rest of the route. So it's going to take, it's about a scale mile of bench work that I have yet to do and track. So it's going to take at 20 miles per hour. It's going to take about, let's see, 20 miles per hour, I think 3 minutes to go that route. So you have to add 3 minutes to the time. But it is continuing now. All along this so far, it's been right-hand running, which we still have here. So now we come from the Aspen Tunnels, then we come into Evanston. And we have the control point here at Evanston, as well as the yard lead. There will be a 7-track yard here at Evanston, along with some engine facilities and a car shop. There will be some trains that originate and terminate here at the Evanston yard. Now the Evanston yard really doesn't do much at all on the prototype. So that won't really be prototypical for us to have trains originating and terminating here, but definitely want to have as much operations as possible. So we're going to kind of assume that Evanston was the yard that maintained significant operations as opposed to Green River. On the prototype, Green River is the major yard of the area, and Evanston is pretty much not much of a yard at all. So for the layout, we're going to swap that around, where Evanston is the significant yard in the area, and we'll have trains originating and terminating here at Evanston. Now right above us is the second level where we started out this journey. And now we're passing the other yard lead into the Evanston yard. And we have another meet with an opposing train, this time another double stack. Looks pretty cool seeing two stack trains running in opposite directions there. I think the total of this run is going to be about 25 minutes, which means that if you run a train across the Evanston Sub during the operating sessions, if you have no stops whatsoever, and run at 20 scale miles per hour, it'll take you basically 25 minutes. So that's the minimum amount of time that you'll have as you run trains. Most trains will have stops along the way, depending on how the dispatcher needs to route trains around various operating obstacles, like trains making stops to pick up and drop off cars, maintenance of way activity, or whatever it might be. So that's the Wasatch control point. That's the summit of the Wasatch grade. Although the Aspen Tunnels is the ultimate summit of the Evanston Subdivision. So we are heading down on the original main line. Since it's downhill for us, it's a lot easier to handle the 1.7% incline as opposed to trains going uphill at that incline. So we're on the original main line. To the right is the modern main line, and there are different areas where they are at different elevations and also are, separated from each other. We're now at the very end of the peninsula. And we're going to be coming up on the steepest part of the grade here, going downhill. So we're switching on the dynamic brakes, and you'll hear the engines idle and the dynamic brakes come on. This is the one portion of the layout that is partially scenic. It definitely is a lot of fun switching this over to dynamic brakes. It's more dramatic when you're here in person. It's pretty cool to hear the dynamic brakes whining as it comes down the steep grade. Some of the rock work that Mark Bridgewater helped me with. He helped with all that scenery. We'll be doing much more scenery here in a bit as we get close to having the main line done. This is now the Emory control point, which is between Castle Rock, which we just went by, and Echo. This will all be part of the Echo Canyon, the Castle Rock area, all the way past the little town of Echo, which we're coming up on. This crossing here will be at the very small little settlement of Echo, which has a little hotel and a restaurant, no gas station. But there should be some pretty cool rock work of the Echo Canyon as we meet yet another train heading in the opposite direction. This is the transition then from the Echo Canyon to the Weber Valley. That's done at a major turn at Echo. And this is now the Weber River Valley. And this is where the Wholesome Cement is going to be. The Weber River also goes through there, as you can see, and we have the Devil Slide control point here. And then we're coming up on Devil Slide. There also will be the I-84 interstate right here as we go by the Newman pole there. I decided that that's going to be officially called the Newman pole. If you are wondering why it's designated as the Newman pole, maybe when I check some of the comments on some of my videos by somebody who always has a lot to say about that pole, so it's been designated as the Newman pole. And we're coming up now on the Taggart tunnels. We crossed the Weber River 3 times. Once over by Wholesome Cement, and then once on each side of the Taggart Mountain and on each side of the Taggart tunnels. So as the train passes the Weber River right here, we'll go ahead and take a look at the entire train. So you can see all the cars there. The first 3 are Ocado well cars, and then we have some Rapido well cars, single well cars, another Ocado Maxi 4, I think it is. And then this is the Ather Maxi 3, a 5-unit, 48-foot containers. 2 sets of the Athern Maxi 3s. And then we have, I think, 4 sets of the Walthers 40-foot well cars. I'm not sure if I remember if these are Gunderson or Greenbrier or what builder this is. But this is our second set. I'm pretty sure there's 4 sets. Been having some derailment issues with these, but I think I got it figured out. Just have to do a little bit of filing on the truck support, and it clears it up completely. So it took me a while to figure that out, what was going on, why they derailed, but I do have it figured out. And we come to the end of the train. As I said, I think there was 40 wells. You may have counted differently. And the DPU is a Canadian National ES44 GEVO. So we'll do a little slow walk here back towards the head of the train as we come to Morgan. And we come to the westernmost part of the layout. So we traveled the entire layout from Green River all the way to Ogden, even though part of it was simulated and pretend. Someday soon we'll be able to do this without any section of simulations, but will be entire running all the way across. This is the Morgan control point, by the way, and those are overpasses that they're crossing, not rivers. The Morgan will be there in the corner. Well, thanks so much for watching. Sorry it was a day late, but I think it turned out to be a pretty good update. Hope you enjoyed it. And please do me a big, huge favor and like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Comment. Try to respond to all the comments. And most of all, have fun with model railroading. And have a great week and a great Labor Day weekend coming up. Take care, everybody.